swift.
Well, a bit of an antidote to the thriller we had at the Gaddafi Stadium yesterday, but Pakistan have got the job done in comfortable, comprehensive fashion, and they've picked up their first points in the Super Fours of the Asia Cup. That after Shakib Al Hasan won the toss and elected to bat first, and it wasn't the batting performance that we saw against Afghanistan. It was more akin to the batting performance we saw in their opening game against Sri Lanka. There were half centuries to the two senior statesmen, Mushfiq and Shakib. They got out soon after that partnership of 100 was broken, and Haris Rauf and Naseem Shah along with Shaheen Afridi and Fahim Ashraf accounting for 9 of Bangladesh's 10 wickets. In response, good to see Imam ul Haq back among the runs. He was due a score, and Mohammad Rizwan just ensuring that there were no slip-ups. Pakistan win quite comfortably. Could they possibly pressed a bit harder, a bit sooner? Doesn't quite matter if they keep winning like this. So we look back at that game on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Matchday, powered by JBL. We'll hear from Urooj Mumtaz in just a moment. Wasim Jaffer before that in studio with me. Easy win it looked like. Wasim, is there any feeling like, oh, they could have gone for it and finished it earlier, given we've already seen net run rates become a discussing point in the Asia Cup?
Possibly, but I think it's still a comfortable win with 10 overs to spare. With 7 wickets in hand. It's a strong statement. The batters, Imam ul Haq got some runs, Fakhar didn't do well, but Rizwan got some runs, so they ticked a few boxes batting wise. So I don't think it doesn't matter if they had won 5 overs earlier. It's still a very strong win from them.
All right, fair enough. Stern assessment usually comes from the former Pakistan captain Urooj Mumtaz. Full marks, Urooj, or still 1 or 2 areas that you would have said, we could have done better in that chase?
Well, you summed it up quite nicely. Yeah, I mean, it's all nice and hunky-dory on the outside, but come big games, big situations, the World Cup, these things matter, and Pakistan had this habit of letting it slip away, and I just feel it's just trying to turn it into a habit to close out games earlier, and that doesn't mean that you'd sort of shut one eye and try and hit everything out of the park. It still means being slightly more proactive, hustling up and down the wicket, just trying to look for runs rather than creating something funky. That's probably my only concern. Yes, they probably wanted to spend time in the middle, considering they got one washed out game, one game against Nepal, where apart from Babar and Iftikhar, rest of the batters didn't have much of an outing in the middle. But all in all, generally, I got a clinical win, commanding win, but those things can matter in big tournaments.
All right, and as we just assess the openers, Urooj, Fakhar again, 20, almost gave one to slip at 9. Imam on the other hand, 78. Do you sense that Imam's back to his best? How would you assess both openers with some tough fixtures coming up in the Super Fours?
Yeah, good for Pakistan to have Imam amongst the scoring runs. I thought he looked confident. He played his shot. He took the spinners on, took the short ball on, and he's who plays within his box. He plays very, very good with his defense. But he doesn't shy away from his shots, and I think that's what provides stability with Imam up front. So Pakistan will be very, very happy that he scored the runs at a decent rate as well. Fakhar, on the other hand, I mean, we all know there is a technical flaw with his footwork, and when form's not riding his luck, his slashing outside the off stump is far too tentative, far too uncontrolled. Whether it's a left arm seamer swinging it away from Fakhar, or if it's a right arm seamer angling it across Fakhar, those are the angles where it's just slightly short of drivable length. That's where he's gone in both games. Even the drop catches came from a similar length outside his off stump with the ball moving away. I think they need to go back to the drawing board again. Don't think there will be a change. Don't think there should be a change. But I think just a little bit of measure of technique and patience is required there.
Anything to add, Wasim, former opener yourself, on Fakhar and Imam? We're not quite seeing the best of Fakhar Zaman, but Imam ul Haq, would you say that innings is ticking more boxes and he's back to his best?
Yeah, I thought Imam played well, even though he had a couple of reviews, in fact 3 reviews that saved him by whiskers. But I thought he played well. Shariful, I thought tested the openers. He was swinging the ball. I thought he bowled really well. But Fakhar, he has a tendency of leaving his front leg, outside leg, and then releasing his arm. That's how he plays. And I thought Shariful set him up nicely. He brought 2 balls, taken it away from him, and then bowled a straight one. So he need to be mindful. I am not too sure how much can he change, but he just needs to be a little bit, take a little bit more time. Sometimes he looks in a hurry. He wants to take the game to the bowlers, and I think he needs to spend a bit more time. Once he gets going, once he gets into 25, 30, he will be all right.
Yeah. We saw Afghanistan just make batting look easy, boundary hitting look easy 24 hours ago in the second innings. Was it harder today? Did it seem like it was doing a bit more? Even Babar seemed to be tentative or watchful. We didn't quite see the same aggressive stroke play as we saw yesterday.
Yeah, maybe because obviously these guys are chasing 195, 194. There was no hurry. Babar's delivery, I thought, kept a little bit low. Hit his bottom of the bat and went onto the stumps. But I thought just because they were chasing 194, there was no rush. They want to spend some time, get some batting practice, for the important games ahead. So maybe because of that, but I still think the wicket was really nice to bat, even though the ball swung at the early stages, which they played out really well.
Yeah, I know you used the term batting practice, and I also know that, I think on air, whether it was Waqar or Bazid who said, are they getting a bit of a net before the next few games? Did it ever feel like in the middle that it was an open net, Urooj, at some point as that target was being gunned down?
I mean, I'm going to be a very pro-Pakistani and say this. There's our heart is always partly in our mouth. Okay, so so let's not take anything for granted. There can be points where there are hiccups, but I mean, you would have thought with the batting depth and the batting quality available to Pakistan, it was going to be a chase. Yes, there's no harm in taking a little bit of time in the middle, but not shutting up shop completely. That can probably sometimes let the game relax and flow on its own pace rather than them being a bit proactive. But yeah, I think it was all in all, it was fairly clinical in the end.
All right, yeah, fair enough. Positives for Pakistan. A game essentially set up in the first half, Urooj, and I guess it makes the selectors or the captain tempted into thinking, is Fahim Ashraf actually a better option than Mohammad Nawaz, with India coming up in Colombo in a few days' time? So at the back of what happened today, would you stick with this combination?
It's a difficult one because between Mohammad Nawaz, Fahim Ashraf, and I'd put Wasim Jr. in there as well, because you're primarily looking at a bowling all-rounder. It's not that Fahim Ashraf is a very consistently reliable, clean, big hitter. So between the three of them, which one is the better bowler? I still feel Wasim Jr., if you're going with the fourth seamer, is your better bowler, but Fahim Ashraf has a slightly edge on him with the bat. I think with the four-seamer option, Pakistan looks a better side because with Nawaz, there is the lack of holding the end down and picking up wickets. With Fahim Ashraf, he's slightly more consistent with hitting that length, just back of a length and just getting the ball to nip into the right-hander. Maybe he can hold an end better because both those options are not your prime middle-over wicket-taking options. Wasim Jr., on the other hand, I still feel he's probably the better option if you talk about just pure bowling.
Interesting if Pakistan would be bold enough to go all-out pace. We saw the problems that the pacers posed to India in the group game, Wasim, and then India looked much more comfortable with the spinners bowling. Is Fahim Ashraf the answer? Would you be tempted to go all-out pace and bring Wasim Jr. as well?
I don't know. I quite like Fahim Ashraf, to be honest, because what he can give with the bat lower down the order. He's not a bad seamer. He picked up an important wicket of Saqib. I think the more he plays, he'll get better. So I feel, Wasim Jr., even though he's a little slightly round arm, can, get the reverse swing. But I think Fahim Ashraf gives you a little bit more with the with the bat, because they've got three outstanding pacers. Fahim Ashraf is still bowling, close to 135, close to 140. So he's not a bad seamer, but yeah, he can get better.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter who you pick if you're only going to see the covers on in Colombo anyway in a few days' time. So let's hope that doesn't happen. It's been chaos, the scheduling for the next round of the Asia Cup, but follow our latest coverage, and hopefully now that the tournament is staying at the Premadasa, that we'll actually get a full set of games, because these are great fixtures. They mean a lot in the Super Fours, and we'd hate to see another washout in an India-Pakistan contest, right? Before we wrap up, quick takeaways for Bangladesh. This has been a disappointing one, Wasim. The Super Fours, you think if Bangladesh started the tournament slowly, they brought their A game against Afghanistan. So you expect them to then carry on. Now it seems like one step forward, two steps back. Where do you sort of go from here if you're in that Bangladesh think tank?
Well, I think again, out of those 3 games, 2 games have been let down by the batters, so the batters need to step up. When you win the toss and bat first, you need to put decent score on the board for the bowlers to do something. These totals are not going to win you games. So the batters need to take responsibility. Again, some of the shots that was played, are questionable. So they need to go back and reassess and come back stronger. That's all they can do. The batting, I feel, need to step up.
Yeah, pre-match show, Urooj, we're talking about how this team looks pretty good. You had Tamim back into that team, and it could be a team that can upset teams in the World Cup. And you see a performance like this today, and you wonder, God, where is Bangladesh cricket at the moment?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they'll be disappointed with the batting outing that they showed in the first half. As a bowling unit, again, I thought they've always been strong with their spinners, but their fast bowling of Shariful and Taskin Ahmed, even Hassan, I thought very, very impressive. And if you can trouble Pakistan's top three, which is a very formidable top three of them rank in the top 10 of the one-day international rankings, you are a good unit. And they kept the pressure on for an extended period of time, in which was a relatively easier game for Pakistan. So credit to Bangladesh as a bowling unit, but their batting. I mean, you can't always rely on Shakib and Raheem to sort of clean up and then score for a longer period of time. The top has to consistently fire. So, but again, there's been notable performances with Shanto, with Miraz. And I'm hoping that they can put up two more good performances. And you never know with the way these fixtures are. Everyone's playing everyone. So
yeah, and they've got Sri Lanka up again. So that rivalry needs no more motivation, even though we didn't quite see the contest we would like to in the group stage. So we watch out for Bangladesh. If they're blowing hot and cold alternately, Sri Lanka better watch out when the action resumes in a few days' time back in Colombo. Right, before we wrap up, it is time for our JBL Mute the World Player of the Day. Okay, I'm going to think about this, and let me put my JBL Tour 1 M2 headphones on while I think about it, because I love to cancel out the noise and think with some music. I'm not going to actually play some music because I can't hear Urooj, but I'm going to pick Mohammad Rizwan. We haven't spoken of him. He's got a nice half century. We're expecting Rizwan to contribute more often than not. He's a key player, took a couple of catches as well. So let's get a word from Wasim and Urooj on Rizwan. That's handy runs going into some big games. Wasim Jaffer?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, he's a busy player, and he showed today. Doesn't let spinners bowl very easily. Doesn't let fast bowlers also bowl. The lengths. He straight away came in and hit a six to upset the length of Taskin and even to the other fast bowlers. So he's a very busy player. And then, like I said, number 4 is such an important position. Those guys take the game away. So he's an ideal player there, and if he comes good, it's good signs for Pakistan.
Yeah, he's probably a fitting candidate in a segment where we're talking about noise cancellation. Urooj, Mumtaz, Mohammad Rizwan.
absolutely. Again, he's another one you can send them. He'll probably wear your headphones out and walk out in the middle, because he's the kind of a character who does cancel most of the noise coming to him from the outside. But what he does sort of transition from his T20 game into the one-day game is his movement around the crease, laterally and down the wicket as well. And that's where he doesn't let the bowler settle. And every now and then he'll be brave enough to play the paddle or pull out the sweep from far outside off stump. So just to disrupt lengths or in the lines of the bowlers. And that's what makes him so effective.
Yeah, very good from Mohammad Rizwan. Good behind the stumps as always. And 63 not out of 79 to take his side over the line. Right, I'm going to take my JBL Tour 1 M2 headphones off. They were damn good and they cancel out all the noise. And this is where we say thank you very much to Wasim Jaffer. We say a very special thank you to him. That's all the time he's going to give us in the Asia Cup. He's going to take the next flight out to Bangladesh and try and fix the problem that this senior team is having. The under-19s have some big cricket coming up. All the best, Wasim.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Urooj, you're not going anywhere because Pakistan are just marching on. They're getting the points, they're getting the job done. So we'll hear more from Urooj, Mumtaz as the Asia Cup continues our way. Couple of days off. How nice is that? And we resume with Sri Lanka and Bangladesh on Saturday. Look forward to your company then on Maruti Suzuki Arena Presents ESPN Cricket for Matchday, powered by JBL. And do download the ESPN Cricket for mobile app for all the very latest around the World Cup, the squads, the Asia Cup and everything else from the world of cricket. We'll see you in a couple of days.
Stunning looks, then swift.
Make sure you download the ESPN Cricinfo app to stay updated with the very latest from the world of cricket.